All right, Coach, going back to last weekend real quick, you got the sweep. You put up some crooked numbers, which is always nice to see, but I know you're really looking to see what the at-bats would look like being a little more competitive up there. Just talk to me from that perspective, what you saw.
Well, it was a little bit of a mixed bag this weekend. We played the game one on Saturday. I thought, a very poor offensive day. I think we were really fortunate to we had an inning where we bunted 3 or 4 times and Illinois State wasn't able to get it out, and that's part of our offense. And I'm not saying it was poor defense. We executed some good bunts, but if you take a couple of those away from us, then we're probably sitting there at 5 or 6 hits in that game, and a couple of them were safety squeezes, so we were able to get runs on those. But offensively, that wasn't a particularly good game for us. I thought on Sunday we did a better job executing our plan. Our at bats were better. Especially the first game. The first game, I thought we did a nice job. I think we got a little lucky to run into a big inning in Game 2 on Sunday. We had the 7-run inning. Other than that 7-run inning, we didn't do a whole lot in that game to put pressure on Illinois State. We had a couple scoring opportunities that we squandered, and other than that, didn't put enough pressure on them in that game. So, obviously better than the first 2 weekends, but still very much a work in progress for this offense to get to what I think it's capable of.
I know you mentioned this actually briefly today and then in your post games this weekend, just about, you guys scored early, you did a good job of putting up those crooked numbers, but then the finishing games, was that one of the things you were talking about maybe this week about trying to finish out those games a little stronger?
Well, I don't think we necessarily, at least our approach is that we don't break the game down into compartments like that, especially offensively. Our goal is to put pressure on a team every single inning and to try and be machine-like with our approach that 1 through 9. It's not to say that all of our hitters have the same strengths and weaknesses, but that the competitiveness in every at-bat should be consistent. It doesn't matter what the situation is, and until we execute execution should really be close to perfect. If we're talking about putting the bat on the ball and hitting runs, getting bunts down in play where we want them down, getting runs in from third base with less than 2 outs, we should expect to be pretty close to perfect on those type of situational baseball. And then in addition to that, our approach should be consistent, where what we're doing with 2 strike at bats, what we're swinging at early in counts, we can control those things. And I think the results, what the ball does off our bat, sometimes I'm obviously not saying we're going to hit 1,000 for the season, but we can control which pitches we swing at, and right now we're not doing a good enough job of that, and we're letting pitchers off the hook too much. We're swinging at 2-0 pitches that aren't in the strike zone. We're chasing in counts we shouldn't chase, and we're taking fastballs away with 2 strikes. Until we consistently do those things right, then offensively we're not going to be as good as we should be. And I think that's what you see, especially in Game 2 on Sunday. You see a little bit of that late in the games where, because we have a big lead, our approach maybe gets away from us a little bit, and we're not taking care of the things that we need to take care of every at-bat. So it's got to get better. I mean, there's no 2 ways about it. We're not good enough offensively right now. I think there's enough good hitters in there for the lineup to be good, but we're not executing a lot of those things at a high enough clip right now to be really successful.
On the pitching side of things, on Sunday you got 2 of your better starts all season outside of maybe Brad's at USF. Just talk to me about how the pitching has kind of come along, and then the bullpen's been pretty strong for you guys so far.
It has been, and it's been a bunch of different guys in the bullpen especially that are getting some innings out there and having different levels of success. And until we get Ryan Marski and Jacob Banks back into that bullpen, we really need guys to step up. Not to say that we won't need guys to step up when they get back, but those guys are trying to carve out roles right now, and then hopefully we can add 2 really, really good pitchers to that bullpen, guys with some track records and a lot of success in our program and their baseball careers. When we get those 2 guys back, we feel like we're going to have a pretty good bullpen. Zach Spears was good. He had a hiccup in, I think it was the 5th inning or 4th inning where you look at his stat line after 5 innings and he had given up 1 hit and 4 runs. That can't happen. And that was all in 1 inning where he's cruising. I think he had 6 strikeouts through 4 innings. He looks really dominant, and then he starts an inning off with a hit batter and 2 walks. And guy hits a triple and a sack fly, and now we've given up 4 runs on 1 hit. And that can't happen. He can't have those. I don't want to call it a mental lapse or anything else, but he knows that he's got to be able to shut those things down quicker than 3 batters into an inning, where all of a sudden he's got to really try to reel it back in. He's got to be able to shut those things down. But he was really sharp for pretty much that entire game outside of those 4 batters. Unfortunately, they were all in a row and cost him 4 runs, but he was really sharp. And then Brad was good again. I think Brad was he wasn't. It's tough to I'm going to compare him to the start he had previously, and he was so good in that start. But like we talked about it a little bit after the game, Brad's just really competitive, and I think whether he's absolutely pinpoint with his control that day or not, he's always going to compete as best he can, and he's always going to keep you in a game. And lucky for us, we were able to score some runs early in that game and get a win.
And now looking towards this weekend, you got Kentucky coming up. Obviously, a really tough ball club. They're pretty hot right now. Just talk to me a little bit about what we'll see from them, and then you got the Arkansas series at the beginning of the year. Does that kind of help with that, just getting that experience? And that's like, okay, we've been there. Now we're going to go to another SEC club, and now we know what to do.
I don't know. My thoughts coming into the season that we were prepared to compete with teams like that. Arkansas is a top 25 team. Kentucky's not right now, but they're playing really good baseball. They might be in a week or two. They might be in the top 25. They're a good ball club. Coming into the season, I felt that we were prepared to compete with teams like that. We haven't shown that early on here, and 3 weeks into the season, I would say that we have not done a good job looking like a team that can compete with top 25 teams. Definitely don't look like a top 25 team. But this is another opportunity for us to go play a good club, and I think that's the way you can start earning that within your program, and not necessarily from an outside perspective, but from an inside perspective, that we can start feeling good about the work we're putting in by going and competing against a really good team and getting some wins this weekend. We go up and have a good weekend against Kentucky, and now our guys will start feeling a little bit more confident in everything that they're doing, a little bit more established with the work that they're putting in. And that's why you schedule good teams. I think it validates what you're doing when you go beat somebody that's really good, and we've got that opportunity this weekend.